Got this. You see that animation? It's like Jaws coming out of the ground. Fantastic. All right, this is going to be exciting. It is now the Barbarian and the High Elf Crypt day. This day 2, I was able to max clear everything I could with the keys I had on the previous crypts. So I'm going to see if we can continue and do all of them today. I'm not too worried about High Elf. I think maybe I'll be okay. I have a pretty good Royal Guard, and I have what I consider a really good Tyrell, and I have a Lysandra. So that plus the Apothecary and just the trash, and I should be okay on the High Elf side of things. But as you can see here, when it comes to Barbarians, my options are going to be pretty limited, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to clear the Barbarians. I probably have some work to do with this faction. Okay, when it comes to Barbarians, there's only a few realistic options. High Katoon's a good option. Any of the legendaries obviously are going to be a good option. The fusion of Sakara plus Alika would be a decent option, but you probably don't have that fusion done already. And then really any Barbarian, Jilton, Ina, Kalia, whoever you really need to throw in there, because we don't really have very many strong options with the Barbarian faction. I am missing 2 from the index for them, and I'm still struggling here to think of what I have that's already prepared. So maybe you guys are farther more advanced on this one than I am. But I'm willing to bet the High Elves are different, and most people are going to be able to handle the High Elves. There's many good characters people may have already worked on, like Tyrell, Royal Guard, Thanasso, even Lutheria, and most of the legendaries in the faction are pretty good. So if you happen to pull one, that's pretty good. And then a lot of people have Apothecary. And if you have like Elheim, for instance, as a starter, that's very usable as well. So there's going to be some decent options in High Elves. I don't really think this one's going to be near as much of a problem for people. I think this is the team I'm going to go with. It should be fine. I don't really think there's going to be too many problems. We'll have to see what the boss is like. I don't know about you guys, but on the previous faction wars, I thought the area looked really cool, as well as the final boss had some amazing artwork. I really, really, really want to give props to the art and thematics design team, because they're nailing it. I mean, look at this one here, the Lizardman. Look at that cool. Look at the background. There's like an aura coming off that dead guy there. I love it. Okay, so the first one, no problem, obviously. Oh, and there we go. We got a speed substat haste glyph, 2-star. That's pretty nice. Okay, here we go. Fight the boss. What I do like about this game, Faction War style, is that even if you lose, it doesn't count the keys. So only if we defeat them. So we're going to get a couple tries at this. Okay, here we go into the match. The creatures are only level 40. The boss says it's going to be level 80. So no problem chewing through the monsters at least. Okay, now here we go. Here's the boss. He's got ads on the side. Really cool looking boss. I mean, like I was saying earlier, the animation. Look at that. Look how cool that move looks. Okay, let's go ahead and pause it here and read the move. So his basic attack attacks all enemies, 25% chance of placing the fear debuff for 1 turn. This chance is increased by 15% per each buff placed on this champion. Interesting. Okay, so let's look here. Mirror Universe attacks all enemies, steals all buffs from each enemy, then transfers all debuffs from this champion to a random enemy. Then applies a debuff spread effect, taking all debuffs from that enemy and placing... Okay, so this guy is going to steal all of your buffs, take all of the debuffs that he has, put them on one guy, give them to everybody. That's an insane move. If you had that move on a character, that'd be nuts. And then exchanges remaining HP levels with a target enemy. Okay, those are pretty good moves. All right, let's see it played out now. His damage, let's see what his damage is like, because while his moves are quite good, oh, his HP isn't really that much. Okay, yeah, this isn't no problem. We got this. Oh, he did the health swap. Oh, man, that's so cool. Okay, but we got the heal up from Apothecary. We got this. You see that animation? It's like Jaws coming out of the ground. Fantastic. I'm telling you guys, the art guys nailed this. All right, and our reward was some accuracy substats as well as a rare skill book. So yeah, we got the High Elf Crypt done. It wasn't really that hard, to be honest. I'm kind of glad we got it down. Here we go. Get us a one-time no whammy shard. And we're on to the Barbarian Crypt. Now, this is going to be the more difficult one. I'm not quite sure if we're going to be able to do all of this or not, but we're going to give it a shot. Here, I'm really going to be relying, I think, entirely on Altan to carry at this point. And we're going to be just using High Katoon for the speed. Everyone else is essentially worthless, and Altan's going to have to solo everything. Also, something I'm noticing is you only get like 50 experience or something for completing these. So there's not really any incentive to put in people at a lower level to try to use it for experience or anything when you're grinding this. I mean, maybe I guess a little bit of free experience since the keys technically don't use energy at all. You can get a little bit of free experience, but it's not really anything that matters, unfortunately. Cool thing about Alt-10 is I'm getting 3 stars and everything because he revives everybody, so even if they die, they're getting res before the game's over. Yeah, no problem. Last stage down. Let's do the boss. Okay, here we go. We're just going to clear through the trash. The trash is still only level 40. We should be able to just 1, 2, 3 whack him down with Alt-10. And hopefully the boss doesn't have some kind of like healing mechanic or some way that Alt-10 can solo him, because that would be a problem. Okay, here we go for the boss. Alt-10 already hit him, did 45k just with the first smack. I mean, oh my goodness, you see that damage? Okay, let's pause and see what his moves do. Okay, so his first move, attacks an enemy, will ignore the target's defense, so 100% removal. Removes all debuffs from it, places a True Fear debuff on a random enemy for 1 turn, places a stun debuff on all enemies except that enemy for 1 turn. These debuffs cannot be resisted, grants an extra turn. Wow, that's really good. So he's going to have CC for Alt-10. Oh, and then he fills his turn meter, so it's like a frenzy set. He fills his turn meter based upon the HP lost. Okay. Well, as long as we can one-shot him, we're going to be good. But we keep getting stunned, and if we get stunned and... Oh, no. Oh! Oh, no! Okay, come on. Yes! We did it. We did it. Okay, so there you have it. We did it. We beat them all. Only 1 star for the ending one, but we got full stars on everything else. And we got some rewards here to get. Let's get our rewards. We get a chicken, get a book here, and that's about all we got. Well, we only get 12 keys a day, so looks like we got 24 hours till the next faction war. Also, the rewards are quite good if you guys have noticed. There's lots and lots of shards in here. There's energy. There's just tons of things that are really useful based upon stars. So I would try to, if you can, at least get a few levels on the other people, you know, other than just your main carry. That way they won't die. Hopefully you can get a few more stars, because once you get into the end here and you have stars on everybody, look at these rewards. I mean, we're talking 5-star chickens. We're talking legendary books, sacred shards. I mean, that's about as good as it gets right there. So for me, Faction Wars is really fun. I like having something else to do every day. We kind of needed some more daily content other than just clan boss and straight grinding. So good addition. I'm really enjoying it so far. I am noticing that's really making me kind of scrape deep in my roster. So when it comes to people like the, you know, Mountain King and his band of lovely dwarves here, I'm really going to have to buckle down in order to be ready in time for the next crypts. A lot of my factions are a little weaker than I thought they were. But don't worry, we got 2 Black Knights, 3 Lord Champ Forts, and 2 Richtoft the Bolds. So our Banner Lords, we're going to be in there. So my personal feedback on the Faction Wars, I have a few main points. First point is going to be that it's only 12 keys a day. It starts at costing only 1 key per stage. There's 21 stages, and at stage 7 where I was at, it already progressed to 2 keys. By this logic, that seems to me that's probably going to be about 4 keys or so for the final tier, which is what I'm assuming we're going to want to be grinding for the best rewards. Meaning we're probably only getting 3 real stages done per day per each of the 2 crypts we get. For that reason, in the beginning, it's a little bit more of a grind, but in the later stages, I think logging on and just doing your faction wars when you're already set up is going to be probably pretty quick and won't be too big of a time investment. The other point I noticed is that it's exposing portions of my roster that are not fully fleshed out, and it makes you kind of go back and focus on characters you may not have already focused on previously. Now, whether or not you think that's a good or a bad thing may depend upon you, but for me, I'm more of a Pokemon collector type of player, casual player, and for that reason, I like seeing people like Solus getting a lot of really good use in these type of dungeons. I like seeing people who technically are not very good having a reason to be around in the game, and I feel like Faction Wars does a pretty good job of helping to alleviate some of this problem. Though it may not fully fix the problem of useless characters, it at least gives them some place to be usable. My third point is that we're limited by keys per day. So as the faction wars continues and we're going back to some of the dungeons we've already done, and we're climbing from stages 7 that we've already beat to, you know, stage 12 or whatever we can get to with our remaining keys, you're going to run out of the keys and you're going to have to come back for the 3rd week, 4th week. So I think it's going to take us probably a month to get to be able to see what the new in-game of Faction Wars is like. We don't really know that it's in-game. It could not be in-game at all. For all we know, Faction Wars is pretty easy all the way up to the end. Though I seriously doubt it, because if you notice some of the moves I read today, they're actually quite good from the bosses, and they could give us some difficulty if those bosses end up having a lot of HP and we really need to build reliable team comps to defeat them. Either way, I'm really excited by all the challenge. The game's got a lot more good stuff going on for it this month, and I'm hoping that September continues to bring us new content, because in my opinion, this is a home run and we need more content like it. I think that while this content is good, we need more of it. All right, boys, that's going to wrap it up for today. So let's get a big time, one time no whammies here to end the video for the day. Smash that like button to give me a bad Alcazar, and figures.